All right, Junkie Nation, look who we got. He's back. Adrian Yanez. Possibly Mantequilla one day. I don't know. But the guy's coming off a win about 3 weeks ago here in Las Vegas. He defeated Davey Grant. What's going on, Adrian? How are you?
Man, I'm doing great, man. Life has been a blessing to me as of late. And, man, it's super exciting. It's super exciting times for me.
Man, there's something about winning. Let me see. Really, it's about 4 times in the last 13 months. So almost like a whole year, if you look at it that way. 3 times in 2021. But doing all that and banking $200K in bonuses. You.
Oh, yeah. Been feeling blessed, man. Been feeling really, really blessed lately, man. It's nothing but great things, man.
So let's rewind. On October 29th of last year, you had not won that first fight of this, this past 13-month run. So no show, no win, and no 50K. And then look at what's changed. What can you tell us has changed, maybe on the personal side that you can share with us because of this run you're on?
Man, like this run, man, I immediately didn't have to think about working another day. Like for like my job and just continue just to train full on and just like, cause I said on the Contender Series, man, like MMA was legitimately like a part-time job for me. I was working a full-time job, trying to pay the bills, trying to make sure that I was able to get to training. Like it was really hard and like a lot of times stressful, and just being able to train full-time has been amazing for me. And then at the same time, all those bonuses have just set me up for I can like potentially, use that money to invest it and then be able to retire one day, not need to fight and all this stuff. So it's like there's a lot of things going on, man, and there's a lot of things that like it's helping me grow. It's honestly, the more money I've been able to win and accumulate, the more I've been learning about money. And it's like I thought I knew about money, but once you start getting more and you start realizing how little a lot of this money is, you're just like, oh snap, like I got to do more with it so I can make my money work for me and all this stuff. So it's been a blessing with just everything and the mindset of like how I look at money, how I look at a lot of these things, because man, the money does make a lot of things in the world go around, and just want to make sure I make more so I can retire, put my kids through college, and after that, being able to live a good, healthy life.
If we even go back 16 months, that would have been when you were on Dana White Contender Series. That night, from what we remember, maybe it's changed, but I believe every fighter gets 5-5, and if you impress, you make it to the UFC, which you did. So that fight and the fight last October 30th was the only times that you fought in 2020. On 2021, you go to your accountant, your tax preparer, and he goes, all right, 5-5, cool. You're in the UFC. Guy shakes your hand, takes a picture, and then you got that other fight to show for the first fight in your contract with that bonus. This one's going to be different. 2022 taxes, man. Like I say, look at Goz and I. We're still the same jokers that we were last year in 2020, but you're a completely different person.
Oh man, absolutely. It's been a growing experience for me, because I actually didn't know how much money I made until my accountant like hit me up not too long ago saying, hey, I don't want you to pay taxes, so let's start looking into these other things so we can like start making you like make your money work for you as well. So I was like, oh, okay. He's like, don't pay Uncle Sam, like pay yourself. And I was like, okay, that's what I'm gonna do. So even if it takes a little bit longer for myself to get the money, I'm still gonna be paying myself. So yeah, I've never had to pay taxes like this year. Well, my 2020 tax year was the first year I paid taxes. I'm usually the guy getting refunds and all that stuff, and always looking for the extra $600 when I could get it. And then after that, that 2020 year, I was like, oh, I had to pay taxes. And I looked at it, I was looking at different. And then this year, I saw how much I had to put away, and I'm like, yeah, all right, cool. I'm doing well for myself, but I still don't want to pay all these taxes,
You got a new car, a new watch. What about the fun stuff? A new Xbox, PlayStation?
Oh man, no new car, man. No. My biggest purchase this year has been a house. My biggest purchase has been a house, and after that, just a whole bunch of furniture for me to be able to like live in the house and everything. Got my son's room going. I'm actually in my son's room right now. Got got the little couch the little sleeper thing that whatever this like love seat is, you rock and forth, back and forth, and everything. So, yeah, a lot of great things, Like it's also cool that I'm getting these bonuses too because I got a kid. I was just born a couple days ago, so now I'm just like, all right, well, I gotta start thinking about that too. So I'm like, all right, now things are gonna be paving the way so I can start setting up his future also as my future. So there's a lot of things going on.
Big boy problems, but it sounds like you're on top of it. You're communicating with a business person. You know, you said you're accountant. Buying a house definitely will help ease the tax burden. So good job on that front, keeping responsible outside of the octagon as well as doing the job inside the octagon. You should be very proud of yourself, man. At your age, there's not a lot of men that can say, you know, they were all caught up like that. You know, a lot of people still acting a fool.
Oh yeah, man. I've always like looked at those ESPN 30 for 30s. They've always like the 30 for 30 broke it. I'd always look at it and be like, man, how do these guys run through millions and millions of dollars and like end up broke like that? That always boggled my mind. Always just made me think like, what are they doing? Is like they like, but then also too, I kind of think about it. I'm like, well, most of these people must have not had the greatest people around them, and that's also a big thing about me as well. I've always surrounded myself with good people and people that always want to invest and do better for themselves and everything. And even just talking to a couple of my training partners, like after like me learning about a couple of things, I'm trying to pass things off to them, be like, hey, look, this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm gonna do, this is what I'm trying to do. You know, I bought my house and I make sure that I'm not only just keeping it to myself and spreading it, but also like we had like my management team has empowerment forums where the first person who was not the first person, but what made it feel like it was super possible for me to do this and like try to like invest in myself and buy more, like build up your wealth so you make your money work for you was James Krause. Iridium had a empowerment forum, and James Krause is out there just spewing out like all this information. I'm just sitting there just like, wow, like he was telling us about his story and just like how what he did to make it work. And I was like, man, if he can do it like that, like not like if he can do it, I can do it. And he gave you that sense of like you can do this. So that's been pretty cool too. And just the people that you're surrounded by, man, good people keep you down to earth, so you're not going out there trying to live the big baller life and trying to go out there and spend everything every weekend. So it's it's been a blessing to me also, because I after kind of just sitting back and just seeing how much the 50 grand just jumps into your account one day, you see that account, you're just like, man, I should go spend it. But then you got people be like, hey man, like what for? So it's been pretty cool having good people surrounded by me.
That's great to hear. Shout out to James. He's shared with us many of his business dealings from about 10 years ago to most currently, and he's definitely an inspirational guy. And then, of course, Jason and Jeremy staying on top of it there with Iridium. Very, very great to hear. I think a lot of fighters should listen to this, and hopefully they're surrounding themselves again with people like that. All right. Now, in this one, the bonus came a little different. Made a sweat, brother. We had, all of us that put money on you had to listen to a split decision. But hey, I'm sure you gained a lot from that. 15 minutes of experience, and of course, much respect. We know this camp was different from all the others. I'm sure you carried a lot of emotion into this. But can you talk about that? I guess they say a lot of fighters don't really want that fight of the night bonus because it means they were in a barn burner and maybe too close for comfort.
Man, I felt that that whole process was just really, really different. Me and my training partner Cam, we were running my training camp and just trying to see, like, I had Cam there as a person to, like, because he knows me. He spent the most, other than my coach Saul, like who had passed away. Is like, other than him, like, we spent the most time with each other. We know each other. We know like each other's like reads and everything, and like we know like when something's off. So like I had him like running the camp with me, and he'd tell me, "Hey, dude, like you kind of need to tone it down." Like, so we're kind of both going and like doing this for the first time without my coach. And it was the first time like ever, like just like being able to like run my own camp at 100%, like just solely just me and my training partner. I've had to do it a little bit before, but it wasn't to this extent because it was just like 2 or 3 weeks out. Like I would have started the start of the camp, and then my coach Saul would come back after like cornering like Chris Cyborg and finish off like the rest of 5 or 6 weeks with me. So it wouldn't even be that bad if that makes sense. But this time around, it was just 100% just me, and then trying to get other fighters ready for their fights and making sure that I was there for them as well as being there for me. So there was a lot of stress going on into this camp, and it was just so much that like yeah, it sucked. And honestly, like I knew that I wasn't gonna finish Davy Grant. I just was expecting to finish him. Like I was telling myself, I need to finish him, especially if I wanted to get a 50K bonus. Like I was like, I got to go out there and finish him. But after those first shots in the first round, I knew that he wasn't gonna drop. I was like, yeah, I just might as well just try to out technique him this whole entire time because that dude can take a shot. And the fact that he kept coming forward, and me just rolling and just making it seem like it was a little bit closer. I should have pushed it. I should have I should have. How can I say it? Not make it look so close. I wish I kind of took it, kept my pace, and ran with it the whole entire fight. But Davey's a tough guy. He made it super tough, and man, that was a fun fight. Even though like I don't like fight of the nights because I want to get performance of the nights, that one was a really great one for me just because I was able to go up there against like someone who's top 25 in the world, top 20, arguably, and go 15 minutes with them with everything that was stacked up against me at the time. So that made me feel so much more better.
Adrian, this next camp here coming up, it's going to feel a little different. You're a father now. Have you already felt a little different in yourself? Do you feel like the next training camp, your mindset, is it already kind of feeling like it's going to be a little different for you?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I've already like, man, as soon as I held my son, I just started like just looking at him and just be like I felt like this urge of just wanting to like give him everything already. It was this weird just sense of like I don't want to leave this. Like the whole entire time, like I was just there. I didn't want to put him down. I didn't want to like I was making sure that he was good. I wanted to make sure he was good. I was following him around everywhere. They took him around. They took him into NICU, and I followed the nurses all the way around. I was making sure he was good, making sure the mom was good, and I was just trying to make sure that like my family was good. And that's exactly how I feel right now with looking at the fights on the horizon. I'm just like, man, I need like I gotta make sure my family's good because at the end of the day, this is all I have. So I want to go out there and like provide, and that's my thing. Like I'm a father. I gotta provide. That's the way I'm looking at this, and I got this little like I'm like I don't know why, but like I started like it's weird because he was born on Saturday, and like just within these couple of days, every time I start thinking about fighting, I get like this more like I have like a little. It's weird because it just happened. It just like I would always have this little fire talking about fighting, but just for the pure love of it. But now I'm looking at this for the pure love of it, but also like there's another like level that I didn't know that I was like now I think about fighting, like ooh, like there's like I was already like it's hard to explain because I had it before, but now it's like I don't know if the flame is bigger, if there's another level to this because I'm just like I have to go out there and make sure like I stop everybody because I need to make sure that my family's well taken care of. I got to make sure that my son has the ability and the options to do whatever he wants in life, and that's exactly what I want to do. I want to do what my father did for me, and I want to make sure that I do the same thing for my son. And man, like it, just even thinking about that makes me fired up. It makes me want to go outside, go run, make sure I'm doing something. But at this point in time, I'm trying to make sure that my son's good. So I'm like, hey, calm down because I got to make sure he's good. These first couple months are a little bit like kind of like, hey, like kind of a little bit hectic. So I want to make sure that I'm here throughout the whole process. So it's hard trying to balance the two right now because I want to go out there and just train my ass off so I can go out there and take another fight immediately. But I am taking this time to be like, no, take your time, spend the time with your son, and then whenever you go into training, you're just gonna have that extra boost.
I like it. You're getting a little primal.
Yeah, that's exactly how it feels.
Yeah. Okay, so listen, when we first started interviewing you, a lot of the questions were, "Hey, Adrian, who would you like to like fight next? Who do you think would be a good matchup? But now the script is flipped a little bit, my friend. People are asking to fight you. People are putting your names with other people. Let's just start with this one. Tony Kelly. He says he can give you your first loss. Do you like that fight?
Yeah, I love that fight. He comes forward. That he's he said he was a small boy from Louisiana. I'm like just like, yeah, I'm in Houston, Texas. I'm from Houston, Texas, where we swing and bang, man. I'll tell you right now, he tries to come towards me like that, he's gonna be on the wrong side of the loser circle. You know, he's gonna wake up, you know, looking at the refs, just being like, what happened? You know, it's gonna be me just walking around with my hands up, you know. So yeah, no, I like that fight a lot. I like all the fights that people have been calling me out because it gives me a fire. It's like it gives me that extra step, like just like, oh, this guy called me out. It gives me that extra like, oh no, he wants to fight. Oh, like we're gonna like it. It brings out that little bit of sense, you know. Anytime like growing up, like someone just be like, hey, I want to fight you. Like, you want to fight me? And they just start getting that little bit extra, like, oh, okay, let's go then. Yeah, that's what it gives me too. Like it gave me that, and now I'm just like ready. Like it's been one of those where I'm just like, all right, cool, yeah, we'll see, let's go, we can do this. So I'm 100% cool with that fight. I'm 100% cool with that fight. I think that's a great fight.
You know, your name has been kind of put together with Sean O'Malley. He just had a fight. What'd you think of his performance, and what would you think of that future matchup?
Man, I actually had to go back and watch his performance. I saw the end result, but you know, because it was on a Saturday, my son was born that day, so I was like, oh, I saw that. I went back and I saw it, and I was just like, oh well, you know. To me, I had already saw that happening. You know, I forgot where I said Sean was gonna win by knockout first round, but I kind of knew that was gonna happen. Paiva is small, like a smaller 125er coming up to 35. I know, you know, props to Paiva taking that jump, but I didn't think he had any of the skills to beat Sean O'Malley. So it was a great performance on Sean O'Malley's part, but again, another 25er.
Well, that's interesting. Because I was about to ask you, could you ever make 25?
Man, I don't know. Because these last couple of weight cuts have been actually like, because I've been eating the most strict I've ever been.
Okay.
And these weight cuts have been getting like, they've been getting harder and harder and harder. But to everybody, it doesn't feel like it doesn't look like it, right? To everybody else,
Davey Grant looked pretty big at times, you know, like
yeah.
And,
but you know what I looked at? He's actually like, it's all torso. It's like the legs, the arms. They're like in person, they're super super skinny. It's just in like on TV, like he has that big wide frame, like top of the chest and everything, but his legs are super small. I'm pretty well evened out throughout, but I do have like thicker legs. But no, yeah, like in the past I probably could have made 25,
yeah.
But that was whenever I was working in the sun full all the time. Like I was just like almost no break running, and then at the same time going into how can I say, going to train, like almost like no rest breaks. And also like throughout that time I was eating super super clean, like where it was like to the point where it was like a detriment, and I was actually walking around 42 at 42, only cutting like 7 pounds to get to 35. But then once I actually like started like it was like around whenever I was like 24 25, but now that I'm a little bit older, gained a little bit of mass throughout the time, and started being able to train twice a day, like I'm now starting to solidify in my weight. Like I've been walking around like out of camp I'm like close to 160, in camp. In camp I start getting down to 55 like 3 weeks to 2 weeks before the fight. I start getting to like 54. I try to be like 53 before 2 weeks out, but after that, like it's I've been cutting almost like 18 pounds, 19 pounds to make 35. So yeah, I used to be able to think I could make 25, but I don't think I can. I don't think I can anymore.
Fair enough. We just like to ask the question because in our careers we've seen the biggest surprises ever. Like I never thought Aldo would cut to 35. I remember asking Cub Swanson for many years, we've known him for a while, and only recently did he say he kind of contemplated going to 35. And then, of course, TJ and Garbrandt, both champions at 35, dabbling, down at 25. So, yeah, I guess nowadays with the UFC PI and there's so many evolving, the nutrition part of it, strength and condition part of the game also evolves. It's always, I think, in my opinion, fair to ask that question.
Yeah, no, and also too, like I think that would be a real big hindrance on my performance because of the way that I would have to eat. Like the way it had to eat, I'd probably have to go like almost like no carbs, like very, very low carbs. Then it'd be very low recovery, so I'd end up having to lose a lot of muscle. So just to even get underneath, because I have a hard time getting underneath. Like once I have a hard time getting to 150, and then after that. That's whenever I go down in diet, and that's whenever weight cut week starts, and then I end up just almost like a pure keto, no vegetables, just like protein and fats and like no carbs whatsoever. And that actually like it helps for the weight cut week, but I know like by the end of the week, like drinking, eating, like I'm still eating throughout the whole process, but like it still sucks. I feel like I have no energy by the end of the week.
Yeah. I don't know if you saw this thread. I think it was DC that was asking about MMA fighters with hands. And like Goes was saying, we've covered you now for a while and threw your name in the mix. A lot of people were like, yeah, like I've seen it. But I feel like in this fight, the announcers are saying it more. And to be fair, Aljamain Sterling also on our show told us about how much he liked your hands. And I also saw he went out of his way to congratulate you. It's almost like you got a fan in the champion. But so two-part, any comments you have towards Aljo, and B, did you see any of that talk going around about the top 5 fighters with smooth, slick hands, in MMA?
Oh yeah, no, Aljo, like I got all the love in the world for Aljamain Sterling. He flew. I was able to go out there and fly out with him and train with him for about a week, and was able to get to know him a little bit. And that just talking to him and everything, like you can hear how much of a genuine person he is. So like all the love in the world to Aljamain Sterling. Like really, really, really great guy. That flew me out before. He actually had like the medical doctors pulled him for that fight with Peter Yan. So I was up there helping him out, and so much like it was like such a good rapport between the both of us. I even offered like, hey, like if you want some more work, or like if you get that Peter fight back, like let me know. I'll fly out. I'll help you. I'll do what I can to help you out, because that's how much like that guy cares about the sport. That's like I can see his love and passion for the sport. So like yeah, like 100%, like that to me like it was real cool. And again, all the love in the world for Aljamain. And then also too, man, yeah, I believe I should be up there in the top. I should be up there in the top talks. I don't have the resume to kind of be like, oh, top 5 for sure. But I do believe to be in the top for sure in the talks, definitely. Because man, like I feel like I pitched a shutout against Davey Grant, and then also too also my adjustments. A lot of people don't take into account and the adjustments that were made into that Randy Costa fight. I did have to make the adjustments throughout the fight and end up getting the finish. And then also too, whenever I fought Gustavo Lopez is like knocked out a lot of good fighters, and I wasn't one of them. Like I was actually able to pitch a shutout for him and knock him out with a smooth transitional right hand. So I think to me, I should be in the top talks. But other than that, and just the fact that I'm getting mentioned more and more is a blessing to me, because I never thought I would be seeing the day where people would be like, nah, Yanez is up there with those guys, top 5. Because whenever I was like outside the UFC, like a couple years ago, like a year and a half ago, actually, just imagine being in the talks with the top people was kind of mind-boggling to me. And the fact that I'm there, that's so cool.
Yeah, well deserved. Like I said, but the secret's out. 8 straight wins, 4 in the UFC, 5 if you count Dana White Contender Series, the bonuses, and then of those 4 wins in the proper UFC, aside from the Dana White Contender Series, 3 of them have been finishes, slick finishes. So you deserve all of it. You deserve the $200K. You deserve more of it. You deserve more praise. and you're a good guy, man. So keep it up. Congrats on being a father and the purchase of your home. Huge year for you here in 2021, Adrian.
Oh man, it's been a big year for me. A lot of ups and downs, but I'm glad that my 2021 feels like it's finishing on the brighter side and making everything such a bigger blessing for me. So this is a crazy 2021. It was actually crazier than my 2020, and the fact that everything feels like it's ending on a high note for me has been the biggest blessing in the world.
Mm-hmm. Well, as always, we want to thank you for the time. It seems like we always say, hey, 15 sound good? Yeah. Next thing you know, we're up in the 25, 26s. So we went over, punch us in the arm when you see us. Don't leg kick us, though. And stick to the shoulder.
I got you.
Thank you. And go enjoy a Dr. Pepper while you have this time off during the holidays. And we'll see you in 2022. We'll be ready to cover that next fight. I'm sure it's going to be big.
Oh, man, thank y'all so much. Thank y'all.